What is that? All right. So, I wanted to talk about culture a little bit today. So, culture, it's like air, you know? It's like we all share it, but it doesn't actually belong to any of us, right? I know this is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. Yeah, we don't have ownership over it. We don't get to decide who gets to have a piece of our culture or not. It's kind of like it's meant to be shared. It's meant to build community. It's meant to like get you on that like level of like feeling like commonality, right? Your culture is your commonality. And sometimes like if you live in California like I did, like you grow up in that culture and then there's just cultural things specific to that location, you know? And then there's like cultural things specific to your like family traditions and bloodlines and stuff. And culture, it's kind of a like really general fucking thing, you know? So the idea of not wanting to share culture is kind of fucking weird to me. And maybe it's because I am multi ethnic, you know? So it's like I have like a few different ethnicities in me. I'm like British, Scottish, Native, Central American, you know, so it's like I'm a bunch of things, you know, and one thing I've noticed is when I combine the cultural practices from like each of my ethnicities, they kind of they're like pieces of the puzzle coming together, you know? It's like, oh, this like these curanderos over here, these shamans and stuff, they're doing exactly the same shit that the witches were doing over here, the druids and the fucking all that shit, you know? The Celts, you know? So it's like we have this like knowledge of all these beautiful like cultures, and we live in a place where we're just surrounded by all these different cultures that kind of come in. We're a melting pot, at least if you're in the States, you know, you're a melting pot. And we don't have like we don't have the authority to exclude people from practices, in my opinion. I feel like the best thing we can do is share common ground and share culture and grow together, you know, and want to grow together. It's like you know, it's frustrating to me. It's like people are like, why is there so much racism in the world? And then we're over here like, don't you do anything for my culture, otherwise that's appropriation. I'm like, do you want the division or do you not? Okay, because if we're taking out the fucking division, we're taking out the fucking the entire bit, you know, the whole excluding other people from your culture bit. Because when you do that, you're like you're stifling progress, you're stifling evolution, really. That's why biodiversity is such a strong fucking thing. That's why like if you like have a person from like Africa like have a child with somebody who is from like Norway or something, that child is going to have an evolutionary advancement over both parents because it can dwell within either climate and adapt way more easily, whereas you know it would be harder for either of them to like, you know, it's on purpose. Okay, this is our growth. It is, we share on purpose. um you know, like and it's gotten to the point where we're all so fucking mixed up. Who even? How can we hold on to one single fucking culture? Like, how can we hold on to one like spiritual practice or one thing? Like, we're learning from all these different, you know, things. We're stuck in a place where there's so much of it, and it's like you can dive into all of it if you want to. And why should we inhibit people from doing that? Like, I don't fucking get it. You know, I don't get it. It's like you want people to season their fucking food, we'll teach them how to cook your food. Like, you know, I don't know. It's so regressive, this idea of like not being able to share. So like when I was doing Aztec dance, which I'm Mayan, by the way, so the Aztecs shared their culture with me. But yeah, and when I was doing Aztec danza, one of the best drummers there was a freaking white guy. Like, okay, so let's like your soul doesn't have an ethnicity, okay? Your soul, because reincarnation is real as fuck, like, we know, like, energy and matter is neither created nor destroyed. It's just recycled, right? So, like, in your past life, you could have been a voodoo practitioner, and then you wake up one day and you're like, you're in this new body and you're like living up in uptown New York or something as like a redhead with blue eyes, and you're like, but I still feel the call of the voodoo. Like, you don't know. You don't know, okay? So, like, your soul may have been practicing these other spiritual practices for so many fucking different generations, and then your soul is confused when you tell it it's not right, okay? Your soul is confused when it's like, but dude, I did this. Like, this was part of my heritage as like a soul, as an energy being. We also know we're 99% energy, so that's most of you, and you neglect most of you when you like tell yourself, oh, I can't practice this, or I can't partake in this, and I can't do that because culture. I'm sorry, but we're here to share it. Like, you don't get to own it. Nobody gets to own it. Nobody gets to tell you you can't do that. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Like, if you want to evolve, if you want to progress as a society, we have to stop thinking that people are lesser than us. We have to stop thinking that people deserve less than us or don't deserve to partake in certain things just because of where they were born, or like, whatever the circumstance under which they were born. You don't know what their soul has been through. You don't know where they really come from. You don't know, okay? You don't know. So, I mean, it's weird when you step out and you realize that we're not just these third dimensional beings, right? It's weird to think that, I could have been a monk in Tibet, or like I could have been a pharaoh in Egypt, or I could have been an alchemist in France. I could have been all kinds of fucking things, right? And then here I come. Okay, just hypothetically, I come here, and then all of a sudden I'm told that it's fucking not my culture to partake in those things that were actually my culture, that I actually built culture. I was partially responsible for the culture built too, so, like, think about that. Your soul is fucking confused when you're telling it it's not allowed to dive into that. Like, honest to God, whenever I watched this fucking episode of Maury, like, fucking years ago, because everyone's watched Maury, don't judge me. But there was this girl, white as hell, and she was like, I'm black. Like, she's like, I identify as that, that's me, whatever. And one thing I really felt in this, like, watching this was, what if she was, like, in a past life, and what if she still so heavily resonates with her past life, and she still feels it so fucking strongly that she can't identify in this new body, right? We have this understanding with like transgender people, where they don't feel like they were born into the right body, but then when it comes to ethnicity, people like make fun of them, and they're like, no, and I don't know, I feel like these cultural connections that you have in this life, that it's for a reason. It's because you were part of that, like, honestly, you fucking know, all the CEOs, all the politicians, those were plantain owners, dude. Come on, they're doing the same fucking shit, just in newer, more inventive ways, so they look less fucked up, but they're still pretty fucking fucked up, So yeah, dude, like, and I don't know, you don't know where they came from. You don't know who they really are, because you haven't gone through lifetime after lifetime observing where their soul has been or what it experienced. They're here for that experience. They're here to grow spiritually as well. So they have to take all the practices and all the things that they learned in previous lifetimes and utilize it in this life. They're meant to do that. one of the best voodoo practitioners I know is a white girl. Okay, and I mean, she made, where's my voodoo doll? There you are. She made this little voodoo guy for me, and like, dude, honestly, like, I feel so deeply connected to, you know, to so many practices, and I just respected that so much. She even uses chicken feathers and shit. Like, you know, and so many people, they just wouldn't understand like the connections that she has made spiritually. They're like, why aren't you just some like Christian white girl? You know, why aren't you conforming to everything else? And she's just like, voodoo's in my soul. I don't know. Like, I wake up, I think voodoo. Like, who do voodoo? I do. You know? And so it's like, after interacting with people who I've personally known that just resonate so deeply with their past life selves, it's like they're indigo children, you know? Like, their soul remembers who the fuck they are, and they're trying to, like, be in touch with that still, right? And us being judgmental fucks, just, that's not helping. Okay, that's not helping. That, you know, we need to understand these souls. We need to be more understanding, you know, for the whole process of existing. Like, existing is hard as fuck, but you know what, I have had several white people invite me over to Thanksgiving. Okay, and I did not turn away from that. You know, I did not think, you know, and maybe like if you thought on ethnic terms, like, oh, you should, like, you know, but it's like, no, because I share in their culture too now, you know, and then it's like, I'm both. You know, I grew up on casseroles and tuna salad. Like, come on. You know, I know what that look like, but, you know, I'm not I didn't grow up on beans and rice, you know, as much as I look like I have. And so I come from always being told that, like, I acted white or that I was, you know, too much of one thing or another, and, you know, and I'm always too fucking brown for the white side and too fucking white for the brown side, you know, and it's like trying to connect with both sides as being the mixed kin in the bunch, you know, it's like people don't understand what we go through, you know, when people are like, you know, judging us for partaking in certain like things, you know, like fucking going to rodeos and shit, you know, like whatever. But like, you know, I mean, all these judgments, you know, they're not helping anybody. Okay, I definitely was an outlaw in a past life. Of course, I'm gonna do things that outlaws did. Okay, I'm gonna go to saloons. I'm gonna shoot some guns. You know, I don't know, but like, I only know that because I'm an outlaw in this life, and yeah, you guys have seen my development, or at least some of you have. But all I'm saying though is like, you know, be respectful. Don't don't be reluctant to share, okay? And don't be reluctant to grow your culture either. Like, if you want to add new like music to the bunch, I know I had a conversation about this when I was at my last sweat lodge, where one of the medicine men, he was like, I just feel new songs in my soul, and I want to make these new songs, right? But then everyone says that I'm going against tradition and breaking rules and all that, and it's like, no. No, 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 no. Culture is meant to evolve. It's meant to grow, right? So it's like, of course you should bring in new music because your soul is telling you to. You're part of the culture, right? You're part of the people making these songs, right? Like, yes, we can honor our ancestors by doing their songs and by, you know, getting into touch with what they did. We can also honor ourselves by introducing new things to our culture because we are still very actively participating in our culture. We still can evolve it and change it and, you know, and bring new traditions in and shit. Like Friendsgiving, well, that's one of my favorite things. I love that. I don't know. And I just, sorry, I've got Thanksgiving on the mind. I'm thinking food. I'm thinking pie. Okay. But anyway, you know, just like, as you know, as much as like we want to hold on to a certain sense of identity, our identity is not in our culture. Our culture helps shape our identity, but our culture is not our identity, you know? Um, and so don't be so personally offended by other people getting involved in it and wanting to participate in it. I made a fucking babka once for Christmas because I wanted to introduce new like traditions and shit. And it's like that was a tradition I couldn't keep up with because the dough was cooking wrong and well whatever. I wasn't good at making a babka. But the thing is I like to try. Okay, I like to bring new things into my like life. I love new forms of culture. I love new traditions and new things because my soul was there participating in history too, and it was making history then, and it's gonna do, you know, it's gonna do that now, and we're all actively making history right now. Right now, we can put things into the world that our descendants get to use and participate in, and all that, you know. So it's like we never should have stopped creating in the name of our traditions and stuff. We never should have stopped the growth, you know. So yeah, keep it going, okay? Like keep the cultures alive. We've had so many languages like get murdered off of this planet, right? Dead languages, dead cultures, dead things. And what happens is when we isolate it to a certain group, and we're like nobody else outside of them can participate in this, well, it breeds out, okay? Because people are going to be mixed breeding, right? And then pretty soon they're going to be too mixed to be all about that one culture, right? Finding ways to incorporate that culture into the culture you're also creating is like, and into the cultures that you're also like experiencing, you know, also like it's all part of the growth. It's all part of the transitions and the changes and the all that. Um, you know, like stick it to yourself a little bit. Don't be so like don't have such a fixed mindset that you just can't fathom that kind of growth. You want world peace, guys? This is how it happens. You want a world of community? This is how it happens. And we have to take away bad intentions, right? Taking away bad intentions comes with mixing our culture. Our ancestors knew that. And that's why they did mix culture. That's why they did invite people in. And that's why they were like, okay, come in, you know? And then, you know, yeah, shit went awry because they were all so different. And then they couldn't speak the same language and there were misunderstandings, okay? And it was more than that. It was a travesty, it was a tragedy, it was all that shit. It was fucking awful what's happened here. Generation after generation, you know, to different groups. It's fucking awful. But if we bring all the groups together, right? And we start acting as a unit, right? Like acting as a full ass community where we help each other out, we invite each other in, we discuss and we grow and we keep doing those things and we keep participating in our cultures and we dance around fires and shit. If we keep doing that stuff, then like what's gonna happen is we're gonna give everybody a sense of belonging, okay? And then when everybody has a sense of belonging and a sense of family and a sense of knowing who the fuck they are and that they have a place there, you know, like really helping them to feel belong, what happens is we have more peace. We have a community working to build itself up, no longer relying on other things to build it up. Like we're out here doing all the work to help each other out. To, you know, we're like, fuck, you need help laying gravel on your road? You need help doing this, doing that? Honestly, I'm out here trying to help all my friends. So if you guys need help, I'm here, you know, but it's like that's what we need, okay? Like sitting here fighting over stupid politics and fighting over stupid media shit and fighting over this and fighting over that and deliberately making rules so we can't see eye to eye and coming up with stupid, like, terminology, like appropriation, you know, like, my existence is appropriation, okay? My existence is appropriation, according to that. So it's like, you know what? Fuck all that. Fuck all of that. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, don't make fun of a culture. You can honor and appreciate a culture. You can actively participate in cultures. Buddhists are all about it. Have you ever gone to a Buddhist temple and been turned away? Hell fucking no. Hell fucking no. Same with Hindu temples. You will not get turned away. Okay? I have been turned away from Jehovah's Witness places, the Kingdom Halls. You know, I've been turned away from the Mormon thing. I am opinionated, okay? We know this. But, you know, where I've never been turned away is always in, like, these Eastern schools of thought. These practices that are so, like, different from Western society, and they're just opening up their arms and they're like, come in, we're just about to meditate, you know, sit down, breathe in the incense and shit, like, take in the good vibes, like, you feel a sense of belonging, a sense of it's okay to be here, it's okay to participate in this, because they want you to. They want to watch you grow and progress, and they want to love you because they believe in universal love, right? And if we believe in universal love, we need to fucking act like it, okay? No more fighting, no more stupid shit. We're not fucking infants, come on. It's like, have we not learned from all these fucking years of war and terror and bullshit that, like, maybe it's not that profitable in the long run? If you destroy everything, like, what is there to be gained? You know, Alexander the Great realized that, and even when he did go to war, he made sure that he didn't fuck up the infrastructures and all the things of the society. Instead, he was in Persia praying to the Persian gods, and he's asking the people, how can they help? What can they do? Like, how can they, you know, fix shit and get things going? He was so good at what he did that at the end of it, people were like, dude, thank you for taking our country. Our ruler was shit, you know? So, like, there's a way to be a real fucking leader in life. And it all comes from giving everyone a sense of belonging in your circle. Like, you know, I mean, don't let all the negative shit in. If they give you reasons, you know, cut them out. But, like, I'm saying, don't be so quick to shut people down from, like, inviting them into your realms, inviting them into your practices, because if you are and you don't give people a chance, like, based on stupid shit like their skin color or whatever, then you're just part of the problem. I'm sorry, like, that's the nicest way I could say it. You are part of the problem if you are not helping people grow and develop and change. You know, everybody needs help, but finding those who want to help is very slim, right? So maybe try being one of those people, you know? And it's like, maybe instead of trying to manifest so much shit for yourself, start trying to manifest shit for other people. Start trying to manifest happy endings for other people, you know? Because you can. You have that in your power. Okay, I'm done being dramatic, okay? But I love so many people from so many, like, cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds. Fuck, I even love people who grew up in Alabama, okay? Like, and, you know, we all know the connotations there, but despite their culture, I could still appreciate who they are, you know? And, you know, so it's okay. It's okay to be open to acceptance and letting people feel like they belong, alright? Like, you wouldn't want to be in a place that you constantly felt like you just don't have a reason to, like, nobody wants you there. Could you imagine how that feels? Being in a place where you just constantly feel like nobody actually wants you here. Everybody is trying to just ignore you and bypass you constantly. You know, so, like, don't do that to people, okay? Be part of the good change, right? Change happens on a person-to-person basis. It doesn't happen on this large global scale first. It happens with how you interact with your neighbors, with how you interact with your family members, with how you interact with even the people you don't like. Okay? Even the people who want to make you fucking crazy. Like, the people who drive you the most mad, your enemies, okay? Like, even your enemies. Because at the end of the day, at the end of it all, you don't have room for enemies, do you? You don't have room for hate and animosity, do you? Like, no. So make a fucking conscious effort to treat your enemies well, treat your friends well, treat your neighbors well, treat everyone well, okay? Even if they're shit, even if they're fucking actual shit. Like, it just shows their character. It shows their inability to be better. But your character, your strength comes from being better even when people are too ignorant to be. Okay? So be better. Okay? Okay. Alright. I'm done ranting. Have a great day.